Welcome back to the Becoming Better Families channel. I'm Samuel Scott. Today we're going to be looking at the third part of Keys to a Successful Marriage. For this part, I'm going to be interviewing my mom and my dad, Kenneth and Stephanie Scott. They've been married for 26 years, and today we're going to ask them questions about things that they have learned and experienced during their marriage. We hope this message blesses you, and thank you so much for watching.
We were both in the military, and we met during training, and were introduced by a mutual friend, and we started talking, started dating. I'll go first. So after talking and dating, I went on leave from the military and went back home to California. And during the 2 weeks, I just missed Kenneth very, very much, and realized that I felt something in my heart saying that he is the one, and that I fell in love. And so I went back to base after 2 weeks and told him I loved him.
Okay, and that's not when I knew, but then we dated. We dated for about 7 years, and well, obviously we moved from Texas to California, and God began to tug on my heart because we were actually living together. And God began to tug on my heart, and I was praying to God and asking Him so that, if this is the right woman for me, then what I want you to do is to make her interested to go to a particular church that I was interested in. I was interested in Crenshaw Christian Center by Dr. Frederick K.C. Price, and I had watched him as a kid on television. I had watched him a lot, and had always said that if I got close to that church, that I would, want to go to that church. And so I actually prayed this. I prayed it in the bathroom, and saying, Lord, if this is the girl, then let her be interested in it. If it's not, then we're gonna have to split up, and that's gonna be that. And it's just whatever you want. So I left out of the bathroom, went into the living room, and we had Dr. Frederick Casey was on in actuality that morning, and she says, "You know what? I would like to go to that church. He's pretty interesting. We listen to him, So I would like to, it's up in Crenshaw, but I would like to go." And I didn't say a word. I just kind of was floored, and I mean it was immediate. So I was like, okay, I guess that's my answer. There's my answer. So that's how I knew that Stephanie was the right one. I knew that, she was the one. Well, I believe that our marriage is successful because God is the head. God is the head, and I seek to do the things that God would have us to do, and to keep us in line, and so forth, and also the fact that we communicate very well. So if I had to tell you, two things, that would be the main two things, is that I definitely pray about things that we do, or are we going to do, or we're thinking about doing, and the communication. The communication is key, where we talk about everything. Even when we were dating, we didn't go to bed. That I always had this rule. She didn't know it at the time, why I had this rule, but I had this rule that you can never go to bed mad at one another. You can never go to bed mad at one another. If you start talking about something and you get into an argument or whatnot, and then you gotta talk it out, and you gotta come to a settlement on it before you ever go to sleep. And so for all of our years, we have definitely lived by that, and we have done it, and we've always talked it out. And and I believe that's why it is successful. Anything you want to add?
No, I totally agree that problems arise in all marriages, and I believe in ours. The reason why it's lasted so long is because we can talk to one another and we respect each other, and um, we listen, and then we also um, you know not hash things out, but communicate and talk things out so we both understand each other. So that's very helpful. Most valuable is uh, to have a relationship with God yourself. Then you apply it to your marriage. But I think um, the best thing I would think is communication, but also there's so many, but it's compromise. Um, you don't always have to have your way, um, and for being a wife to be submissive, not in a way that um, that you're discarding yourself, but in a way that respects the man of the house, my husband. We do things together, we talk things out, but it's also a give and take kind of relationship where there may be some days that I want to do something, he'll say, okay. And then same thing with him, he may want to do something and I may not want to, but I say, okay, kind of thing. Uh, so it's not just one thing. I would say it's many things that help as a woman in a marriage. Is I would say listen, compromise, communicate. Just being there for each other, helping one another, and that's all I can say.
Okay. Um, I would say that the bottom line, it is the communication, without a doubt, and that's in everything. I mean, communicating from what you want to eat to where you're going to, you know, what are your plans for today? Just total communication. So if you can communicate well, if you're okay with communicating, with your mate, then you should do all right. And you're willing to listen. You're willing to listen. She's willing to listen to you. You guys can talk things out, and that is the most important thing.
Yes.
So as long as you don't allow that communication to get cut off, then you're gonna be all right. Okay.